What's going on, guys? This is Stack That Gold. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about how to store your gold, silver, precious metals, bullion, all of that. What you should do to store your precious metals, what tools to use when handling it, and what tools you can use to actually store and keep your precious metals safe from environmental factors and other factors. Now, I have some things here that I want to go over that I have found to personally be good for me as far as storing and handling precious metals and coins. Now, depending on what you want to do, whether you want to keep your precious metals at home, whether you want to store it in a secure environment such as a bank or an off-site safety deposit box, that's really your choice. For me, I personally do mostly in a off-site secure location. I store a lot of my valuables there. I don't use banks. Banks, believe it or not, are not FDIC insured. There are other companies that offer services that do give you some type of insurance. So you really have to look into that. Keeping valuables at home is not always a good idea or practical idea for some people. I often do not keep that many on site, but if you do, an option for you might be something like keeping your coins in a tube. Now, a tube will protect your coins from dust. It'll protect it to a little extent air, depending on the type of tube. This one actually has a hole on the top. If this will focus, it's hard to see, but it has a tiny hole that releases air and pressure when this is closed. You have other options such as coin holders, plastic coin holders with an inert center filling. This is good for both air and dust protection. If you'd like to perhaps display your coins, I would highly recommend getting a airtight capsule or some other company capsule. Particularly, I would recommend getting what they call a ring, a black ring, a white ring, blue, red, any color you desire. I just feel that for some reason the black background makes the coin pop the most, in my opinion. These are pretty inexpensive. I mean, I literally buy them for something like maybe 50 cents to 95 cents, depending on the size. The rings, they do cost a little extra, but again, the coin, it basically just pops with that black background. You could also get a clear one. These are pretty nice too. They do protect your coin from the elements. Now, when you do get coins, oftentimes raw, they will be in a flip basic holder. I don't recommend keeping a coin in this type of flip because, number one, you're getting exposure to air. This is opened, so you get, especially with silver, that might tarnish your coin. So I would highly recommend you get something that is at least somewhat sealed. Also, when handling your coin, it's best to wear a glove, some type of cotton-based glove to handle, especially if you're dealing with very high mint state coins. You don't want to smudge it. You don't want to get the oils from your hands on the coins, leave any residue or dirt from your hands. So I highly recommend using a glove when handling raw coins. Now, if you do decide to keep some coins at home and you have the storage, I would highly recommend getting an airtight safe or a fire resistant safe. Safes are usually rated depending on the number of hours they will stand up against a certain temperature fire. So you don't have to spend a ton of money. You don't have to buy the biggest safe, but if you're considering getting some type of home protection, then what you would want to do, or even if you're considering getting a safety deposit box or some type of off-site safety deposit box, my recommendation is I highly recommend you get something like this. Now, what this is, and if you could see it, is basically silica. Now, this silica happens to be rechargeable. Now, what this does is this basically absorbs the moisture out of the environment where you put your coins in. So, for example, let's say you put this in a safe. Now, you have a certain percentage of humidity in that safe. It's not going to be 100% airtight, but instead of having maybe 60%, humidity, something like this might bring it down to, 40-45% humidity. So it basically absorbs all the moisture within that confined space. So this is something you would want to consider if you have either maybe a safety deposit box or at-home safe. This is something you definitely should consider. Now, these are rechargeable. This one in particular, I has a base with it, and this one basically recharges the silica. Basically, it turns a bright orange, and that's how you know it's fully charged. Now, when it gets to be a duller orange or in green color even, that's when you know you need to recharge it. So those are some basic tips and tricks of storing your coins and where you would want to store them. As always, remember to like and subscribe and stack that gold.